Most men think life is against them. They think the world is unfair, people are disrespectful, opportunities are rare, and success belongs only to the lucky. But that is not their real problem. Their real problem is far more dangerous. It is invisible. It lives inside them. It is the undisciplined mind. A weak mind can turn a small insult into a sleepless night. A weak mind can turn one rejection into years of insecurity. A weak mind can turn one failure into a permanent identity. And because most men never train the mind, they walk through life carrying chains they cannot see. Listen carefully. There are men who move through chaos untouched. Pressure does not break them. Criticism does not shake them. Delay does not frustrate them. They lose money and remain calm. They lose status and remain grounded. They face betrayal and still keep their dignity. When you study these men closely, you notice something important. Their life is not easier. Their mind is stronger. That is the difference. The average man wants better circumstances. The dangerous man builds a better mind. One becomes a victim of conditions. The other becomes master of himself. And in a world where most people are ruled by emotion, the man who rules himself becomes rare. Weak men react instantly. Strong men become still. Weak men need praise. Strong men need purpose. Weak men complain about pressure. Strong men are forged by it. Weak men chase attention. Strong men protect energy. This is why many men remain stuck for years. They try to change results without changing identity. They buy motivation but avoid discipline. They consume advice but reject discomfort. They want confidence without facing fear. They want peace without controlling desire. They want respect without becoming respectable. But nature does not reward wishes. It rewards transformation. You cannot think like a fragile man and live like a powerful one. Every day, the modern world trains weakness into you. Endless scrolling destroys focus. Cheap entertainment kills discipline. Constant comparison poisons self-worth. Validation culture makes men dependent on strangers. Noise becomes normal. Distraction becomes lifestyle. Emotional impulsiveness becomes personality. And then people wonder why they feel empty. Because a distracted mind cannot build a meaningful life. A man divided against himself cannot win. Marcus Aurelius once ruled an empire while dealing with war, betrayal, sickness, and endless pressure. Yet he reminded himself that the greatest empire to govern was the inner one, Marcus Aurelius. That truth still stands today. If your thoughts control you, nothing outside needs to. If anger controls you, enemies win for free. If approval controls you, strangers own your mood. If fear controls you, opportunities pass untouched. If comfort controls you, greatness never arrives. So ask yourself honestly, how many of your decisions are truly yours? How much of your day is driven by impulse, insecurity, distraction, ego, and emotional habit? How often do you say things you regret because you could not pause? How often do you abandon goals because progress became uncomfortable? How often do you lower standards because loneliness felt heavy? This is where most men lose, not in battle, but in private moments no one sees. They lose when they cannot say no to themselves. They lose when emotions become commands. They lose when convenience becomes king. But this can change. The Stoics understood something timeless. No man becomes powerful by controlling others first. He becomes powerful by controlling himself. Stoicism, self-mastery, is the foundation of every lasting victory. Without it, success becomes unstable. With it, even failure becomes useful. Over the next lessons, you are not learning soft motivation. You are learning laws that separate weak men from unshakable men. Laws that build calm under pressure. Laws that make disrespect powerless. Laws that turn pain into fuel. Laws that free you from the need to be liked. But understand this clearly. Knowledge alone changes nothing. Many men know what to do. Few men do it when it is inconvenient. Many men admire discipline. Few men practice it daily. Many men speak of strength. Few men remain calm when tested. So this is your first lesson before all others. Stop waiting to feel ready. Action creates readiness. Discipline creates confidence. Repetition creates identity. If you keep waiting for the perfect mood, you will remain the same man next year. The clock will move. Your life will not. Decide now. Either continue as a man ruled by circumstance, or become the man circumstance cannot rule. One path is common, one path is rare, one path is crowded with excuses, one path is lonely, sharp, and worth everything. And the moment you choose self-mastery, chaos begins to lose its grip on you. Lesson 1, control your reaction before it controls you. This single law separates dangerous men from weak men faster than money, looks, status, or talent ever will, because most men do not lose when something bad happens. They lose in the seconds after it happens. An insult is spoken, and they react. A delay appears, and they complain. A mistake happens, and they panic. Rejection comes, and they collapse inward. They believe life defeated them, when in truth they surrendered to their own response. There is a space between what happens and what you choose next. Small, invisible, often ignored. Yet inside that space lives freedom. Inside that pause lives discipline. Inside that pause lives power. The average man never notices it. He lives mechanically. Someone provokes him, he fires back. Someone doubts him, he becomes angry. Someone ignores him, he feels worthless. His buttons are public property. Anyone can press them. That is not strength. That is slavery with a masculine mask. Epictetus taught that people are disturbed not by events, but by their judgments about events. Most men hear this and nod, but they do not understand the brutality of it. It means your suffering is often self-created. It means many enemies do not need to harm you because you harm yourself through interpretation. It means if words can move you, the speaker controls you more than you control yourself. Think of two men receiving the same disrespect. One explodes immediately. He raises his voice, loses posture, loses clarity, says things he regrets, and spends the night replaying it. The second man remains still. He studies the situation. He decides whether response is useful or silence is stronger. One man was triggered, the other man was tested. One failed, one grew stronger. The world rewards the second man because calmness under pressure signals power. Anyone can be composed when life is soft. Real character appears under friction. Storms do not create weakness, they reveal it. A weak man mistakes intensity for strength. He thinks loudness is dominance. He thinks emotional outbursts prove confidence. But look closely. The man who cannot control his face, tone, breath, or impulse is not powerful. He is leaking power in public. A lion does not need to bark like a frightened dog. Real strength is quiet because it does not need witnesses. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Read that carefully. Not partial power, not occasional power, power over your mind. This means someone can insult you, but they cannot force you to be offended. Someone can reject you, but they cannot force you to feel worthless. Someone can delay your progress, but they cannot force you to abandon discipline. Those outcomes require your participation. Stop giving it. From now on, train the sacred pause. When anger rises, say nothing for a moment. When pressure hits, slow your breathing. When provoked, relax your jaw and shoulders. When emotions demand immediate action, delay them. Time weakens impulse and strengthens judgment. Even 3 seconds of silence can save you from 3 months of regret. Weak men obey first feelings, strong men interrogate them. Ask yourself in difficult moments, is this reaction helping me or exposing me? Is this worth my energy or stealing it? Will this matter next week or only tonight? Am I responding with principle or reacting with ego? These questions return command to the rightful owner, you. Imagine a mountain during violent weather. Wind strikes it, rain hits it, thunder surrounds it, yet the mountain does not chase the storm. It remains grounded. Compare that with a dry leaf blown in every direction. Most men live like the leaf. Every opinion moves them. Every inconvenience bends them. Every emotional gust redirects them. Become the mountain. Stability is intimidating in a chaotic world. There is another hidden advantage to mastering reaction: unpredictability. Weak men are easy to manipulate because everyone knows how they will respond. Praise them, they chase harder. Criticize them, they break. Ignore them, they beg. Tempt them, they fold. But the disciplined man cannot be easily read. He chooses responses intentionally. That makes him difficult to control and difficult to defeat. This is why silence often feels powerful. Silence creates uncertainty in those who expected access to your emotions. It shows you are thinking, not twitching. It shows your inner world is not available on demand. Practice daily in small moments. Long line at the store, stay calm. Traffic delay, stay composed. Rude comment online, do not engage. Plan changed, adapt quickly. These are not minor events, they are repetitions. And repetition builds identity. If you master yourself in small irritations, you become formidable in major crises. Many men wait for big moments to become disciplined. Too late. Character is trained in ordinary moments long before extraordinary ones arrive. Remember this line: whoever controls your reaction controls part of your life. Take that control back. Not tomorrow, today. Become slower to anger, slower to speak, slower to take offense, but become faster to observe, faster to adapt, faster to return to purpose. The man who rules his reactions walks through chaos untouched, not because life became gentle, but because he became stronger than his impulses. Lesson 2, detach your ego from insults, rejection, and outcomes. Most men are not destroyed by reality. They are destroyed by what reality means to their ego. This is one of the deepest traps a man can live inside. Someone ignores them and they think, I am unimportant. Someone criticizes them and they think, I am not enough. They fail once and they think, I am a failure. They lose money and they think, I have lost my value. Notice what happened. An event occurred outside them, but the wound was created inside them. The event was temporary. The identity they attached to it became the suffering. This is why many men stay broken long after the moment has passed. Their pain is not from what happened, it is from the story they keep repeating. Epictetus warned that men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. In modern language, this means most emotional pain is interpretation wearing the mask of truth. Reality says she did not reply. Ego says you are undesirable. Reality says the business failed. Ego says you are weak. Reality says they disrespected you. Ego says you must prove yourself immediately. And once ego enters the room, peace leaves through the back door. A dangerous man understands something rare. Not everything is about him. This frees him from endless imaginary wounds. Someone is cold today. Maybe they are tired. Someone did not text back. Maybe they are busy. Someone criticized your work. Maybe there is truth in it. Someone rejected you. Maybe you were simply not aligned. But the ego cannot tolerate neutral explanations. It prefers personal drama because drama keeps identity at the center. Weak men make everything personal. Strong men make everything useful. There is a massive difference. Imagine a mirror standing in a forest. A storm passes before it, and the mirror reflects the storm. Sunlight appears, and the mirror reflects the light. An animal runs past, and the mirror reflects movement. Yet the mirror does not become any of these things. It reflects without absorbing. This is how your mind should operate. Instead, most men are like muddy water. Every little touch disturbs them. One comment ruins the day. One delay changes their mood. One rejection shakes their confidence. Their emotional state belongs to circumstance. Clean water settles. Muddy water reacts. Become clear again. Marcus Aurelius practiced stripping events down to their bare form. Not, this is humiliating, simply this happened. Not, they disrespected me, simply they spoke words. Not, my life is ruined, simply this plan failed. Why is this powerful? Because labels create suffering faster than events do. The moment you remove unnecessary labels, your mind regains oxygen. Let us speak honestly about insults. Why do insults hurt some men so deeply? Because they secretly fear the insult might be true. A secure man hears nonsense and discards it. An insecure man hears nonsense and spirals. So when words wound you, look inward before outward. The pain may reveal an insecurity asking to be healed. That is useful information. Use it. Do not hate the mirror for showing dust. Clean the face. Rejection works the same way. Many men beg for acceptance because they tied worth to being chosen. They need approval from women, friends, family, co-workers, strangers online. But dependence always invites suffering. If another person's opinion determines your value, then your value changes hourly. That is unstable living. Build value on character instead. Discipline, honesty, courage, competence, restraint. These cannot be revoked by a text message. They cannot be taken by gossip. They cannot be deleted by rejection. They belong to the man who practices them. Ask yourself when triggered, what happened and what story am I adding? Separate the fact from the fiction. The fact is useful. The fiction is expensive. Example, fact, someone criticized your performance. Fiction, they hate me, I am finished, everyone sees me as weak. Example, fact, she chose someone else. Fiction, I will never be enough. Example, fact, you made a mistake publicly. Fiction, I am permanently embarrassed. Facts can be handled. Fiction multiplies suffering. Here is another truth. Ego hates. You do not need to respond to every disrespect. Sometimes silence is higher status than defense. Sometimes walking away is stronger than winning the argument. Sometimes letting people misunderstand you saves years of wasted energy. Weak men rush to protect image. Strong men protect peace. The ego says, prove yourself now. Wisdom says, improve yourself quietly. The ego says, they must recognize me. Wisdom says, I recognize myself. The ego says, retaliate. Wisdom says, rise. A tree does not stop growing because someone mocked the seed. It keeps reaching upward because growth is answer enough. Live like that. Let others talk while you build. Let others judge while you sharpen skill. Let others misunderstand while you deepen character. You do not need universal approval to become exceptional. You need consistency. Practice detachment daily. If praised, remain grounded. If criticized, remain curious. If ignored, remain focused. If rejected, remain respectful. If delayed, remain disciplined. Emotional balance in both directions is power. Because if praise can intoxicate you, criticism can poison you. Refuse both forms of dependency. Remember this line, the moment you stop making everything about yourself, life becomes lighter. You see clearly, you move calmly. You waste less energy defending an image and invest more energy building substance. And substance always outlasts ego. Lesson 3. Protect your energy like a weapon. Most men think their greatest problem is lack of time. They say they need more hours, better luck, fewer responsibilities, the perfect opportunity. But time is often not the real issue. Energy is. A man with focused energy can build in 2 hours what a distracted man cannot build in 10. A man with disciplined attention can rise from almost nothing, while a drained man wastes every advantage he is given. If your energy is scattered, your life becomes scattered with it. This is why many men wake up with ambition and go to sleep frustrated. They had goals in the morning and excuses at night. They did not lose because life was impossible. They lost because their energy leaked all day through 1,000 small openings, meaningless conversations, endless scrolling, comparing lives online, arguing with fools, reacting to drama, chasing validation, overthinking things that never happen, saying yes to people who drain them. Every leak feels small. Together they empty a man. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. That means whatever fills your mind slowly becomes your nature. Fill it with chaos, and chaos becomes familiar. Fill it with envy, and peace becomes rare. Fill it with garbage, and discipline becomes difficult. Most men underestimate environment because it feels invisible, but invisible forces shape visible outcomes every day. Imagine a clean river flowing through the mountains, clear, cold, alive. Now imagine poison being poured into it little by little, not enough to shock the eye at first, just small amounts daily. Over time, the water clouds. Life inside begins to die. Movement becomes heavy. That river is the mind of the modern man. No single distraction destroyed him. Continuous contamination did. 1 hour of pointless content, one bitter friend, one toxic relationship, one habit of constant reaction. Repeated enough times, they dull instinct, weaken discipline, and kill momentum. Dangerous men understand that attention is currency. Wherever attention goes, life follows. If you give attention to nonsense, nonsense grows roots inside you. If you give attention to mission, mission grows power inside you. This is why weak men are always exhausted but rarely productive. They spend premium energy on low-value targets. They fight comments online but ignore their body. They obsess over strangers but neglect skill. They track other people's success but cannot track their own habits. They are busy but not effective, moving but not advancing, tired but not transformed. Epictetus taught that you become what you give your attention to. Read that again carefully. You become what you repeatedly feed. Feed anger, become angry. Feed distraction, become weak. Feed discipline, become reliable. Feed truth, become sharp. Feed silence, become dangerous. Attention is not neutral. It is construction material. What you focus on today becomes your character tomorrow. Start asking one brutal question before every engagement. Is this worth my energy? Before replying, before arguing, before clicking, before saying yes, before staying in the room, before picking up the phone, is this worth my energy? Most things are not. But weak men never ask. They donate life force to anything that knocks. Strong men guard the gate. There is power in selective absence. Not every message deserves reply. Not every invitation deserves attendance. Not every opinion deserves defense. Not every conflict deserves your presence. Sometimes the highest level move is withdrawal, not from fear, but from clarity. Lions do not attend every barking contest. Men with direction cannot afford random battles. Consider relationships. Some people enter your life carrying storms inside them. They gossip, complain, blame, manipulate, drain, repeat cycles, and call it personality. If you stay close long enough, their weather becomes yours. Many men lose years trying to rescue people committed to drowning. Learn this now. Compassion does not require self-destruction. You can care without carrying. You can respect without remaining. You can love without allowing chaos into your home. Distance is sometimes wisdom in physical form. Protect your mornings especially. The first hour of the day often decides the tone of the next 10. If you begin with noise, messages, dopamine, comparison, urgency, and reaction, you start the day mentally invaded. If you begin with movement, silence, reading, planning, discipline, and intention, you start sovereign. Own the first hour, and you often reclaim the whole day. Protect your body too. Low sleep, poor food, no training, and constant stimulation create emotional fragility disguised as personality. Many men say they need mindset work when they first need basic standards. Exhaustion makes temptation louder. Laziness makes excuses smarter. Weak physiology often produces weak psychology. Build both. A tree survives storms because roots are strong. Your routines are roots. Sleep is a root. Training is a root. Solitude is a root. Focus blocks are roots. Standards around who enters your life are roots. Men chase visible success while neglecting invisible roots, then wonder why the first storm breaks them. Let your phone stop being a master. Every notification is a request for your nervous system. Every unnecessary check fractures concentration. Every random scroll trains impatience. Put distance between impulse and access. Silence notifications. Set windows for use. Leave the room without it. Reclaim attention through boundaries. Freedom often begins with friction. Remember this line: energy given to the wrong things is energy stolen from the right things. Your mission needs that energy. Your future family may need that energy. Your discipline needs that energy. Your peace certainly needs that energy. So become harder to access, slower to engage, quicker to leave what weakens you. Not cold, not arrogant, strategic, because a man who protects energy becomes steady, productive, clear, and difficult to derail. And in a distracted world, that alone feels like power. Lesson 4. Kill expectations before they kill your peace. Most men believe frustration comes from difficult people, bad luck, unfair systems, delayed success, or life being against them. But frustration often has a quieter source: expectation. Hidden, innocent-looking, and destructive. You expected respect, so disrespect feels unbearable. You expected loyalty, so betrayal feels catastrophic. You expected faster results, so progress feels meaningless. You expected life to move according to your schedule, so every delay feels personal. The pain is not only in what happened, it is in the distance between reality and what you demanded reality should be. That gap is where irritation grows. That gap is where resentment feeds. That gap is where many men waste years fighting existence itself. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He reminded himself each morning that he would meet difficult people, selfish people, arrogant people, ignorant people, and inconvenient events. Some hear this and think it sounds negative. It is the opposite. It is preparation. A man who expects weather carries a coat. A man who expects challenge carries composure. A man who expects only ease is emotionally naked when reality arrives. Weak men want a smooth road. Strong men train for rough terrain. Imagine a river moving toward the sea. It meets rocks, fallen trees, sharp turns, narrow passages, drought, flood, and changing ground. Yet the river does not become offended. It does not stop to complain that the path was supposed to be straight. It adapts, bends, deepens, moves around, over, or through, because it accepts the nature of movement. Men suffer because they expect a straight road through a crooked world. They call normal obstacles unfair punishment. They call delay failure. They call discomfort a sign to quit. But obstacles were always part of the road. You only mistook fantasy for reality. Expectations poison relationships more quietly than open conflict. You help someone and secretly expect gratitude. When it does not come, bitterness begins. You love someone and secretly expect them to heal your emptiness. When they cannot, blame begins. You work hard and secretly expect guaranteed reward. When timing disagrees, despair begins. Understand this brutal truth. Many disappointments are unpaid invoices from expectations nobody agreed to. The world did not sign your hidden contract. Neither did other people. Yet many men punish reality for refusing terms it never accepted. Epictetus taught, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go smoothly." This does not mean passivity. It means alignment. It means acting fully while releasing demands over outcomes. Plant the seed, but do not scream at the sky for rain. Train hard, but do not worship immediate results. Love well, but do not try to imprison another soul into behaving exactly as imagined. Work with reality, not against it. Many men say they want peace while clinging tightly to how everything must go. That is impossible. Peace and rigid expectation rarely live in the same house. One must leave. If you need everyone to understand you, you will suffer. If you need every plan to work perfectly, you will suffer. If you need every season of life to feel exciting, you will suffer. If you need fairness from an unfair world, you will suffer. Need less, build more, accept more, adapt faster. There is enormous power in saying, "This is not what I preferred, but it is what is here." Now, what is the next wise move? That question restores strength immediately. Complaining asks, "Why me?" Wisdom asks, "What now?" Weakness stares at closed doors. Strength searches for hinges, windows, tools, or another path entirely. Expectations also distort self-image. A man says, "By this age I should have more money, more status, more certainty, more recognition." Says who? Often these timelines were inherited from culture, comparison, insecurity, or fear. Then he uses imaginary deadlines to torture real progress. He ignores growth because it arrived later than ego wanted. He dismisses discipline because applause was delayed. He abandons long-term greatness for short-term emotional relief. Stop measuring your life against clocks designed by other people. Seasons differ. Roots grow in darkness before fruit appears in public. Think of weather. When rain comes, you do not accuse the sky of betrayal. When winter comes, you do not call the year a failure. You understand cycles. Yet many men expect their own life to remain permanent, summer constant momentum, constant certainty, constant reward. No. There are winters of solitude, springs of rebuilding, summers of expansion, autumns of letting go. Mature men learn seasons. Immature men demandent sameness. Replace expectation with standards. This is the key shift. Expectations depend on outside behavior. Standards depend on your own behavior. Expectation says they must respect me. Standard says I will respect myself regardless. Expectation says results must come quickly. Standard says I will keep showing up. Expectation says people should be loyal. Standard says I will choose carefully and leave dishonor quickly. Standards create power because they live inside your control. Expectations create fragility because they live outside it. Practice this daily. Before meetings, expect complications. Before travel, expect delays. Before goals, expect boredom and setbacks. Before relationships, expect imperfection. Before success, expect time. This is not pessimism, it is armor. The prepared man stays calm where the entitled man breaks down. Remember this line: expectation is often ego telling reality how to behave. Reality does not listen. Let go of the script. Keep the discipline. Release the demand. Keep the effort. Drop the fantasy. Keep the mission. When you stop insisting life be easy, life stops feeling like an enemy. And when peace no longer depends on conditions, you become hard to shake. Lesson 5. Use pain as fuel. Most men spend their lives trying to avoid pain, numb pain, hide pain, blame pain, or distract themselves from pain. They run from rejection, discomfort, embarrassment, loneliness, discipline, heartbreak, failure, uncertainty, and hard truth. They think the absence of pain is peace. But often the absence of pain is stagnation. The man who avoids all pain also avoids growth, because growth rarely arrives wearing comfort. It usually enters carrying pressure. This is why so many men remain soft while claiming they are protecting themselves. They are not protecting themselves. They are protecting the version of themselves that needs to die. Pain is not always punishment. Sometimes pain is instruction. Sometimes pain is redirection. Sometimes pain is the fire that removes weakness you were too attached to release voluntarily. Stoicism never taught men to feel nothing. It taught them to feel deeply without becoming controlled. That distinction changes everything. Weak men are ruled by pain. Strong men study it. Weak men ask, how do I escape this feeling? Strong men ask, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Weak men collapse under pressure. Strong men are clarified by it. Think of raw iron entering fire. Without heat, it remains ordinary metal. With heat, hammering, and shaping, it becomes a blade. The iron does not enjoy the furnace, but the furnace reveals what it can become. Many men pray for sharpness while cursing the fire designed to create it. Heartbreak can become bitterness or standards. Failure can become shame or wisdom. Rejection can become insecurity or redirection. Loneliness can become desperation or self-respect. Pain always arrives with two doors. One leads downward into victimhood. The other leads upward into transformation. Most men choose by instinct. Rare men choose by discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action, and what stands in the way becomes the way. In simple language, the obstacle itself can become your path. The breakup that shattered you may force you to build a body, mind, and standards you never would have built while comfortable. The humiliation that embarrassed you may ignite the hunger to become competent. The loss that crushed your ego may free you from false identity. The season that isolated you may teach you how to stand alone. Pain often carries gifts wrapped in rough packaging. Most men throw the package away before opening it. Let us speak honestly about anger. Anger is dangerous when unconscious and powerful when directed. Many men either explode or suppress. Both are forms of weakness. Explosion wastes energy outward. Suppression rots energy inward. Better path, transmutation. Convert anger into movement, training, creation, disciplined action, boundaries, and focused improvement. Someone disrespects you. You can argue for an hour or train for 6 months. One feeds ego, one builds substance. Someone leaves you, you can beg, stalk, spiral, or become a man they no longer recognize. One deepens dependence, one builds identity. Someone doubts you. You can defend yourself verbally or let results answer later. One seeks approval, one commands respect. Pain becomes poison when stored without purpose. Pain becomes power when given direction. Think of pressure beneath the earth creating diamonds over time. Pressure alone is not enough. It must be endured, contained, transformed. The same is true for men. Anyone can suffer. Not everyone can metabolize suffering into strength. That is a skill. Build it. Stop asking why this happened to me. Ask, what can this build in me? Stop asking, how long will this hurt? Ask, how can I use this hour well? Stop asking, who is to blame? Ask, what is now my responsibility? Responsibility is where pain starts losing its grip. Victimhood keeps wounds open because it gives your power away. Responsibility closes wounds because it returns power to your hands. Some pain is a signal to leave. Abuse, dishonor, addiction, repeated self-betrayal, do not romanticize these. Wisdom knows the difference between pain that builds and pain that degrades. Discipline in the gym builds. Staying in toxic chaos degrades. Honest criticism builds. Constant humiliation degrades. Solitude that strengthens builds. Isolation that destroys requires action. Strength is not blind endurance. It is intelligent endurance. Use pain, do not worship it. Many men become addicted to telling their tragic story because pain gives identity. Be careful. If suffering becomes personality, healing can feel like death to the ego. Let the old story die. You are not your worst season. You are not your betrayal. You are not your failure. You are the man deciding what to do next with what happened. That decision matters more than the event itself. Practical rule. When pain hits, move your body first. Walk, lift, run, breathe, train, motion helps metabolize emotion. Then write clearly what happened, what is under my control, what standard was violated, what lesson is expensive enough to remember, what action starts recovery today. Clarity turns chaos into structure. Structure turns suffering into momentum. Another rule, never waste pain by repeating the same lesson. If betrayal taught you to choose better, learn it once. If laziness cost you opportunities, learn it once. If people-pleasing emptied you, learn it once. Recycled pain is often refused wisdom. Remember this line, comfort keeps many men alive, but pain has built most great men. Not because pain is noble, but because adversity forces choices, comfort delays forever. When life presses you, become more deliberate. When loss visits you, become more disciplined. When rejection stings, become more selective. When hardship arrives, become more dangerous in silence. Because the man who can turn pain into fuel becomes hard to stop. Life can hit him, but it cannot waste him. Lesson 6. Destroy overthinking by returning to the present. Most men are not exhausted because life is too hard. They're exhausted because their mind never stops manufacturing battles that do not exist. They replay conversations that ended yesterday. They rehearse disasters that may never happen tomorrow. They analyze tiny signals until they create problems from shadows. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, tired, distracted, and weak. Understand this clearly. Overthinking is not intelligence. It is undisciplined imagination. It often wears the mask of responsibility, but underneath it is fear seeking control through endless mental activity. The man who thinks constantly feels productive while remaining stuck. He mistakes movement in the mind for movement in life. That confusion steals years. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly pulled himself back to one grounding question: what is happening right now? Not next week, not worst case scenario, not what they meant by that tone. Right now. This question is powerful because reality exists only in the present. Fear usually lives in projection. Shame often lives in memory. Peace lives where your feet are. Weak men live in past and future so often they barely inhabit their own day. Think of a man with an important meeting tomorrow. Instead of preparing simply, he imagines humiliation, failure, rejection, awkward silence, criticism, lost opportunity, collapse. His body responds as if danger is already real. Heart rate rises, sleep worsens, confidence drops, focus disappears. By the time the meeting arrives, he is already drained, not by reality, but by imagination. Many men suffer twice. once in fantasy, then again in fact, sometimes only in fantasy. Imagine a flashlight in a dark room. Wherever you point, it becomes your world. Point it at danger, and danger fills the room. Point it at what can be done now, and capability fills the room. The darkness did not change, focus did. Your attention works the same way. Where attention goes, emotion follows. This is why uncontrolled attention creates unstable men. One rumor ruins them. One uncertainty freezes them. One thought spirals into 10. They do not need enemies because their own mind attacks daily. Epictetus taught that men are troubled not by events, but by the principles and notions they form concerning events. In modern terms, your interpretation can wound you more than reality ever intended. Overthinking is often your attempt to predict pain so you can avoid it. But prediction rarely creates safety. It usually creates paralysis. You keep scanning life for threats and miss opportunities standing beside them. Let us be honest about why many men overthink. They fear mistakes, they fear judgment, they fear uncertainty, they fear not being enough. So instead of acting, they stay in the mind where everything can be rehearsed but nothing is risked. The mind becomes a bunker, safe, cramped, and useless for victory. Action feels dangerous, but stagnation is what truly drains life. There is a brutal cure for overthinking. Return to what is in front of you, your breath, your next task, your posture, the next sentence to speak, the next rep to lift, the next page to read, the next call to make. Not your whole future, not everyone's opinion, not 10 years from now, just the next wise move. Men become overwhelmed when they try to carry imaginary weight from days that have not arrived. Live today first. Practical rule. When thoughts spiral, ask, is this happening now? If the answer is no, pull back. If danger is not present, then your nervous system is spending energy on fiction. Another rule. If a problem can be solved now, act. If it cannot be solved now, schedule it or release it. Endless rumination is neither action nor surrender. It is wasted fuel. Another rule, write the thought down. Thoughts in the head expand like smoke. Thoughts on paper shrink into sentences. I'm worried everything will fail. Sounds huge inside the skull. On paper, it often becomes, I need to prepare for tomorrow's call. Clarity replaces drama. Overthinking also feeds perfectionism. Many men delay starting because they want certainty first. They want the perfect plan, perfect timing, perfect confidence, perfect readiness. None of these arrive before movement. Confidence is usually earned after action, not before it. Direction becomes clearer while walking, not while staring at maps forever. The archer does not become accurate by imagining arrows. He releases them. Think of an animal in the wild. When threat appears, it responds. When threat passes, it returns to calm. It does not sit for hours wondering if the predator might come back next Tuesday. Humans often do the opposite. Safe in a room, they create danger internally. The body cannot always tell the difference. This is why some men live in constant stress while sitting still. Train your nervous system to trust the present again. Breathe slower, relax the jaw, unclench the hands, look around the room, name 5 things you see. Feel your feet on the floor. Bring attention back into the body. Presence is physical before it becomes philosophical. Another hidden cause of overthinking is too much idle stimulation. Endless content, constant notifications, rapid dopamine cycles, and no silence create minds addicted to chatter. If you never unplug noise, thought keeps spinning after the machine should have stopped. Build pockets of silence daily. Walk without audio, eat one meal without a screen, sit for 10 minutes doing nothing. Boredom often detoxes a mind addicted to chaos. Remember this line, you cannot think your way into peace while practicing habits that train mental noise. Some men wear overthinking like proof they care deeply, but caring without control helps no one. Calm focus solves more than frantic analysis ever will. The disciplined man is not thoughtless. He simply knows when thinking has become self-sabotage. He knows when planning has turned into hiding. He knows when caution has become cowardice. He returns to reality quickly. Return there often, because in the present moment, most things are manageable. It is the imagined future that feels unbearable. The man who learns to come back to now becomes steadier, sharper, and harder to shake. While others drown in possibilities, he handles what is real and wins there. Lesson 7, stop needing approval. Most men never become powerful because they are too busy being liked. They shape their words to avoid discomfort. They hide opinions to avoid rejection. They tolerate disrespect to avoid conflict. They perform success to receive applause. They become agreeable when they should be honest, loud when they should be silent, available when they should be focused. Their life looks normal from the outside, but internally, it is rented property. Too many decisions are owned by the crowd. Understand this clearly. The need for approval is one of the most socially accepted forms of weakness. It is praised as kindness, flexibility, being easygoing, being nice, being humble. Sometimes it is those things. Often it is fear-wearing manners, fear of judgment, fear of exclusion, fear of being misunderstood, fear of not being enough without external confirmation. A man can be respected by many and still be enslaved if he needs that respect to feel whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote that he was not made for what others think of him. That sentence is freedom compressed into a line. Most men live the opposite way. If praised, they rise. If criticized, they collapse. If ignored, they question their worth. If admired, they feel real again. Their identity moves up and down with public weather. That is dangerous because anything outside you can be removed. Applause fades, trends shift, attention moves on. Crowds are unstable foundations for self-worth. Imagine the sun. It rises each day and gives light without asking permission. It does not dim because some people dislike heat. It does not burn brighter because others applaud sunrise. It simply fulfills its nature. Compare that with a candle in the wind. Every opinion flickers it. Every gust changes its shape. Many men live like the candle. One comment online ruins confidence. One woman's rejection changes posture. One room's silence makes them overcompensate. Become less like the candle and more like the sun, stable from within. The need for approval often begins early. A boy learns love through pleasing others. Be good and receive praise. Be useful and receive attention. Be quiet and avoid punishment. Later, he becomes a man who still trades authenticity for acceptance. He smiles when resentful, says yes when drained, agrees when unconvinced, pursues status symbols to impress people he does not respect. He thinks he is succeeding while abandoning himself in small daily transactions. This is expensive living. Epictetus taught that if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish or stupid concerning external things. In modern language, growth requires surviving misunderstanding. You cannot evolve while demanding universal approval. The moment you begin setting boundaries, some will call you selfish. The moment you stop performing, some will call you distant. The moment you become disciplined, some will call you obsessed. The moment you speak truth calmly, some will call you arrogant. Let them speak. Their label is not your identity. Weak men edit themselves to fit every room. Strong men carry principles into every room. This does not mean becoming rude, cold, or needlessly confrontational. It means becoming internally sourced. You can be respectful without being dependent. You can be kind without being compliant. You can listen without surrendering judgment. You can care without needing to be chosen. Mature strength is not rebellion for attention. It is steadiness without permission. Ask yourself brutally honest questions. Do I really want this, or do I want to be seen having it? Do I agree, or am I avoiding tension? Am I helping or am I buying approval? Am I staying because it is right or because I fear being disliked? These questions expose chains hidden as virtues. Many men overwork for praise, overspend for image, overexplain for acceptance, overstay in toxic relationships for fear of loneliness, and overtalk to seem important, all symptoms of the same disease. Outsourced worth, cure it by building self-respect. Self-respect is quieter than confidence and stronger than praise. It comes from promises kept to yourself, waking when you said you would, training when lazy, speaking truth when nervous, leaving what dishonors you, doing right when unnoticed, keeping standards when temptation is easy. This kind of esteem cannot be handed to you, so it cannot be taken easily either. Practical rule: do one meaningful thing regularly that no one sees. Train without posting it, read without announcing it, build skill without broadcasting it, save money quietly, keep commitments privately. This teaches the nervous system that progress does not require witnesses. Another rule: reduce unnecessary explanation. You do not owe everyone a defense of your boundaries, priorities, or path. Over-explaining is often approval-seeking, disguised as communication. A clear no can be complete. A calm silence can be complete. Another rule: let some people misunderstand you. Trying to correct every false perception is endless labor. Those committed to misunderstanding you will do so with fresh evidence. Protect energy. Let time reveal character. Approval addiction also corrupts relationships. If you need to be liked, you become manipulable. People sense what you crave and can steer you with approval or withdrawal. Praise becomes leash. Disapproval becomes punishment. But the man who values truth over praise is difficult to control. He can hear criticism without panic. He can hear compliments without addiction. He can stand alone when necessary. That independence commands respect, even from those who dislike it. Remember this line: if strangers can raise your value, strangers can lower it. Refuse that system. Build a life where your own judgment matters most, because it is backed by discipline, honesty, and action. Then praise becomes pleasant but unnecessary. Criticism becomes data but not identity. Rejection becomes redirection, not devastation. The man who no longer needs approval walks differently. He speaks cleaner, chooses better, leaves faster, builds deeper. While others chase acceptance, he becomes undeniable. Lesson 8. Learn to sit with yourself. Most men fear silence more than they admit. The moment noise disappears, they reach for something: phone, music, messages, video, conversation, food, stimulation, anything that keeps them from being alone with their own mind. They call it relaxing, staying connected, unwinding, passing time. Often it is escape, because when the room becomes quiet, what enters is not emptiness. It is everything they have postponed facing: regret, anxiety, insecurity, loneliness, unmade decisions, hidden resentment, unclear direction. The truth they kept numbing with motion. This is why many men can handle crowds but cannot handle a quiet room. They are comfortable around noise because noise protects them from themselves. But what you avoid often controls you. If you cannot sit alone for 10 minutes, you are not free. You are dependent on distraction. And dependence is weakness, no matter how modern it looks. Marcus Aurelius spent time writing to himself, not for applause, not for an audience, but to examine the state of his own mind. That private discipline helped him govern an empire publicly. Men want external authority while neglecting internal conversation. They want to lead others while being strangers to themselves. That never lasts. Imagine a lake during a storm. The surface is broken, muddy, restless. You cannot see beneath it. But when the wind stops and the water settles, depth becomes visible. Reflection becomes clear. The lake did not gain depth in stillness. It revealed depth already there. The same is true for your mind. Silence does not create clarity from nothing. It reveals clarity buried under constant disturbance. Many men say they do not have time for stillness. Often what they mean is, stillness feels uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is information. It shows where dependence lives. It shows how much noise has become medication. Sit anyway. In the beginning, you may feel agitation, boredom, racing thoughts, emotional restlessness. That is not failure. That is withdrawal from stimulation. Stay long enough and another layer appears: awareness. You start noticing patterns. Why certain people drain you. Why you keep repeating the same mistakes. What goals are truly yours. What desires are borrowed from comparison. What pain you keep disguising as busyness. This is priceless knowledge. Most men never receive it because they never stop running long enough to hear themselves think clearly. Practical rule. Begin with 10 minutes daily. No phone, no music, no multitasking. Sit, walk, or journal in silence. Observe thoughts like passing traffic. Do not chase every car. Do not jump into every lane. Let them move. You remain seated. Another rule. Schedule solitude before the world's schedules collapse for you. Men who never choose stillness are often forced into it later through burnout, heartbreak, illness, or breakdown. Voluntary solitude is wisdom. Involuntary isolation is often the bill. Another rule. Use silence for questions, not punishment. Ask, what am I avoiding? What truth have I delayed? What standard am I violating? What would make me respect myself more 6 months from now? Honest questions in a quiet room can change a life faster than loud advice in crowded places. Lesson 9. Stop letting small things control you. Most men are not defeated by major tragedy. They are slowly weakened by minor irritations, treated as emergencies. Traffic, delays, tone of voice, a rude stranger, a plan changing, a message unanswered, a small mistake, a short inconvenience. Each event is tiny, yet many men surrender peace repeatedly throughout the day. By night, they feel exhausted and call life stressful. Often life was normal. Perspective was weak. Marcus Aurelius practiced seeing things from above, from time, distance, scale. This mental zoom out is a weapon. Up close, a problem can block your whole vision. From distance, it becomes one detail in a much larger landscape. Imagine standing 1 inch from a wall. It looks endless. Step back 50 feet, and suddenly it is manageable, maybe even small. Problems behave the same way. The thing embarrassing you now, will it matter in 1 year? The delay ruining your mood, will it matter next month? The comment replaying in your head, will it matter at the end of your life? Usually no. Then why hand it today's peace? Weak men react to size as emotion presents it. Strong men measure size with perspective. They ask, is this inconvenience or catastrophe? Is this lesson or disaster? Is this worth energy or only attention seeking from my ego? Most daily stress fails under honest examination. It survives only when dramatized. Another powerful perspective shift is cosmic scale. Look at the night sky. Cities, careers, status games, online arguments, and social embarrassments shrink quickly beneath stars. This does not make your life meaningless. It makes many worries proportionate. You stop treating every discomfort like destiny. You stop crowning every setback as proof life hates you. You remember you are here briefly. Use that memory wisely. Some men waste whole years emotionally reacting to moments that deserve 10 seconds. Do not become one of them. Practical rule: when bothered, Ask 3 questions. Will this matter in a year? Is there action required now? If not, why am I carrying it? Another rule: shorten complaint time. If irritation arises, notice it, solve what can be solved, then move on quickly. Lingering over trivial matters is self-inflicted fatigue. Another rule: reserve emotional intensity for what deserves it. Health, family, integrity, mission, genuine danger, meaningful love, real loss. If everything is important, nothing is. If every annoyance gets full reaction, you will have no strength left for true battles. Think of a king who sends his entire army to every barking dog outside the gate. Soon, the kingdom is defenseless. Many men run their nervous system this way. They deploy full emotional force against every tiny disturbance, then wonder why they feel depleted when serious challenges arrive. Protect your inner army. Use it wisely. Remember this line: small things become powerful only when you keep kneeling to them. Rise. Let minor inconveniences remain minor. Let delays be delays. Let fools be fools. Let weather be weather. Let traffic be traffic. Let people misunderstand you sometimes. Save your force for building, protecting, loving, leading, and becoming. The man who can enjoy silence and ignore trivial chaos becomes rare. While others are constantly agitated, he remains centered. While others react to every spark, he preserves fire for purpose. Lesson night: become the observer, not the reactor. This is the final shift, and once a man understands it deeply, his entire life changes. Most men believe they are their thoughts. They believe they are their anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, cravings, impulses, memories, and moods. A dark thought appears, and they say, "This is me." Anger rises, and they say, "I am angry." Fear enters, and they say, "I am weak." Doubt appears, and they say, "I am broken," because they identify with every passing inner state. They are dragged around by weather inside their own mind. One hour they feel powerful. Next hour they feel worthless. One day disciplined, next day defeated. Their identity changes with internal climate. That is unstable living. But there is a higher level of awareness available to every man. You are not the storm. You are the sky that notices it. You are not every thought passing through consciousness. You are the awareness witnessing thoughts arrive and leave. You are not anger itself. You are the one who can notice anger arising. This distinction sounds small until practiced. Then it becomes liberation. Stoicism points toward this through reason and self-command. Other traditions point toward it through mindfulness and detachment. Different roads, same mountain. Awareness creates freedom. When you observe an emotion instead of becoming it, space appears. In that space lives choice. In that space lives dignity. In that space, old patterns begin to die. Imagine sitting beside a road watching cars pass. Each car is a thought. Some are loud, some seductive, some frightening, some ridiculous, some aggressive. Most men jump into every car. A fearful thought appears, they ride it for hours. An angry thought appears, they drive it into conflict. A lustful thought appears, they obey it. A doubtful thought appears, they accept it as truth. By night, they are exhausted from traveling in vehicles they never needed to enter. The disciplined man stays seated. He watches traffic move. He chooses carefully which thoughts deserve engagement. This is mastery. Marcus Aurelius often examined his own mind rather than blindly obeying it. That practice helped him remain steady while ruling under immense pressure. Men today want strength without self-observation. Impossible. If you cannot watch your own patterns, you will repeat them forever. If you cannot notice your triggers, they will keep owning you. If you cannot see your cravings clearly, they will disguise